Hello, everyone. Welcome to an edition of Ed Tech Tutorials with Mr. Ferranti. Hey, in this video, we're going to show you how to use a program I think you're going to love. It's called WeVideo. We have access to WeVideo currently through the end of the year. I do not know if we'll continue to have access next year, but it is a great online web-based video editing program, and I thought this would be a great video program to introduce to you before the year is out. So with no further ado, let me get started. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so what you do is you go to WeVideo.com. Okay, we have this account through our Google G Suite account, so you can sign in with Google, and you have permission, to do this through the district. Okay, you select your Google account, your school Google account, and that will log you right in. And now my screen is going to look a little bit different than yours because I've been using it for a little bit, and so I have some projects already built in, but I'm going to show you, what to do. You'll see, of course, you won't see my name here. You'll see your name. Okay, up along the top, you'll have 4 tabs: Dashboard, Projects, Media, and Export. When you're in your dashboard, you're going to see the screen will look like this. Okay, you'll have some recent edits in here maybe eventually. You'll be able to create new videos, recordings, and we'll show you that in a little bit too. You can use GIFs, podcasts, and there's even a whole bunch of templates you can use. Okay, I haven't really used too many of the templates, but you can check those out if you want to. In the top right, you have your account settings and your account, so you can log out there, and you can take a look at your settings. Under your privacy settings, it will tell you, everything's managed by the Washington Township Schools at this point. Okay. Under manage personal data, okay, again, the school district is responsible for managing all of your data, and that helps to keep everything private. Right? If you'd like to, you can edit your icon, your account icon. Okay, and you want to make sure you use your email address provided by the school. Prefer that you don't change your first or last name. It makes it difficult for us if we need to get you some information about the program. So you can change your icon if you want to, if you even have that ability. I'm not sure if you do. Okay, so that's that. Let's get back up to the dashboard. Okay, now when you're working in the dashboard, you can start with a video. It's going to ask you where you want to put this. Now, by default, you have one project called My Project. Okay. What you can also do, though, is you can go back out to your dashboard and you can go to Projects. And this is where you can add projects. I have a number of projects that I've been working on as I'm getting to learn this platform myself. But you can add a new project right here. And you can give it a name. So if you're working on a class project and it's for a language arts class, maybe you call it language arts, or you give it even a more specific name specific to the topic that you're working on. So I'm going to call this a sample, and I'm going to give it a brief description. Okay, and a description can be helpful to you as you build more and more projects. Sometimes having a little description might help you remember what that project was for. Okay, now I already have some media that I've added to my platform, so I'm going to already have some things here. You may not have much here, if at all. I don't remember if by default they give you anything. They don't, I don't think. All right, so I'm just going to click Next and assume that I'm starting from scratch like you. Okay, so now that you're created a project, you can either hit Create Video or Finish. Now, if you hit Create Video, it's going to ask you if you want to start from scratch or from a template. Now, I'm going to start from scratch, and then I'm going to hit Start. All right, now this is your platform for your project. You have a few things here. You have something called Stock Media, and you can do a search for any topic you want, and there'll be some video clips in here with a whole bunch of different time frames from 15 seconds there, 6 seconds here, 16 seconds there. And so there's a whole bunch of different stock media there based on topic. You can also go under My Media, and this is where you would have any clips that you create. You can also create from here. So you can record, or you can just add audio and narrate. Okay, so if you just want to do an audio clip, you can create audio clips here. You can also import videos that you might already have on your computer. Browse to select. Okay, and then you can look, if you have those videos in your Google Drive, you can go to your Google Drive. If you've already downloaded something to your Chromebook, it would be under the My Files and under Downloads. Okay. Under Text, this is where you can add titles and text throughout the video, as well as credits at the end. And there's a whole bunch of different text options that you have. There's ones that move, that's under the motion. There's some called static. Okay, and these would just be, solid text on the screen that doesn't move. There's one here called In Season that gets updated based on the time of the year. And so you can see there's a bunch in there. And call outs. Okay, so if you're doing some sort of a tutorial showing somebody how to play a video game and you wanted to insert a call out, you could use some of these tools here as well. There's audio clips, there's transitions, and there's backgrounds. Okay, now, to get started, with a new project, you have by default 2 video tracks and 1 audio track. However, you can add more. Right? So you can click the little plus there, and you could add a second audio track if you wanted to mix some music. Okay, so you can use this for somewhat of a audio editing tool, and you could add a second track of audio if you wanted to, and that gets placed underneath the other audio track. You can also add additional video tracks. Okay, so that can be helpful. All right, now I'm going to start out with some text, some motion text, and I'm going to add a title, and I'm going to just drag that down into track 1. Okay, now I can double click on that, and this will then allow me to customize my text. Okay, so you can change what the text says. You can also format the font style, and there's a few options for you. And if you click manual, you can also adjust the size and make things bigger and smaller. Okay, you can also change some color. So this first font, welcome, is white, and I can change that to a new color. I can change the second one to a different color. This piece here, I'm not sure where that is. It might be an outline. The third one here, let me see, pick a green. Not really sure where that shows up. And there's another, not sure where that is either. Okay, and then also something to point out is you can also change the transparency of a color right here. And so you could slide that down, and then my text becomes a little bit more transparent, and that purple shines through a little bit. So that's something else that you can work with. Okay, moving ahead. When you're finished with that, right, you can also click under the transform And there's a few other things that you can do. You can rotate. Okay, you can flip. You can change the scale, as well as the position. When you're done, you hit Save Changes. Okay, and you have a clip. All right, the next thing you can do is you can go back under My Media. And here's where you can record your own video if you'd like to. And you can add your webcam or your screen, or both your screen and your webcam. Now, something I want to point out, if you're doing your trying to record your screen or the screen and the webcam, when you click Next, okay, you'll get a little preview of what's going to happen. And this is where you can change cameras if you have an external camera set up. Okay, so if you have a second camera or a third camera, these would show up here. You can also change your mic if you have an external mic that you're using that might have a better sound quality. All right, so you have a few options there. Okay, click Next. Then you can decide if you're working with an application window or a specific Chrome tab that you want to record. Okay, you'll get a 3-second countdown. All right, and then you'll see a stop button. And in this particular setup, the stop button appears up at the top of my screen. So when you're finished recording, you can then click Stop. And then that video will be recorded. You can hit Save. Okay, now that video, those 2 video clips got added. And I can then drag those into place. Okay. So I maybe want to start with the logo. So I'm going to drag the logo in. And I can also click a background. And I can add a background in there. And I'm going to put that underneath, I think. And you can always preview your work. Okay, actually I want to put this background up here. Put the video. I think this will work better. So there's that background. Nope, didn't work. I'm not seeing the logo. Okay, I think the logo is just too big. There we go. So I double clicked. What I did there was I just double clicked on that logo and I shrunk it down. And now, because I have the logo on one track and the video on another track, okay, the background's in the back and that logo is on top. Okay, so that's the purpose of having multiple tracks, that you can separate things out and you can begin to overlay them. Okay, you can also go back then to My Media, and you can see there was the video I recorded of my screen. So I can add that and drop that in. I can also add the video of me talking to you. These always look pretty silly because you always happen to catch yourself when you're not smiling with some ridiculous face on, like me. And then you can, so again, all I did there was, let me double click. I just double clicked on the shot of me speaking, and I'm going to shrink that down because I want to put that in the bottom corner. And now I can change where I have that tutorial video, and I can make it as big or small as I want, and then save the changes. All right, and then okay, so here's me speaking to you, and that got recorded separately from the screenshot where I was explaining how to do something on the screen. All right, so you can do that. You can also pull in some stock media if you want. And you can drop that in somewhere. And then we'll add some audio. We'll put some music in the background. I'm just going to pick something random. By the way, there's music. There's also sound effects. So, you can also add sound effects if you wanted to. All right, so I'm going to add some music. I'm going to grab this. I don't know what it is. Put it in there. Whoops. Do that again. Got to drag the audio. Has to be on an audio track. So if you had some intro music, you can shrink that down to cover your introduction. And now when you start your video, okay, you get some music in the background. Then you have your introduction. And then that will cut out. Now that background goes a little too long, so I can click that and I can adjust the length of it. And then I can pull everything back into place first to where it needs to be. Okay. The other thing you could do is you can take a transition and you can start to drop transitions in between video clips. So if I wanted to take this like atmospheric and I want to drag that so after the background it makes a transition into this video, I can pick another one and transition here. Okay, I want to take that music and I want it to get a little bit lower as it fades in. So you can just click on the music tab and then take that little, click the dot there, and you can then drag that music so it gets lower. And about two more things to show you before we end this video. So you can see how now the music gets a little bit lower, starts to fade. There's a little transition. Okay. All right, there's me, the video that I made. I'm going to skip ahead of that. All right, you'll see a transition. Recording, you can then. All right, so there's a little flip transition there. Right, this earth goes for a little too long, so I can cut that down. I can go back up to text. I can have some sort of credits in the background. I can go to a background image and I can drop that behind my credits. And then my credits will come up. If I wanted to change any of the color or what the text says, I can double click it. Okay, to change what it says, you click the little text bubble and that will give you your text editing tool. Okay, these are your transform tools. You can save the changes. You can, again, adjust the length of anything. And then I might want to add some fading audio. So I grab that, I drag that in. And I just want to show you one thing. And then we're going to end here. I'm just shrinking this down again, the size. I'm going to actually leave it a little bit longer so I can show you this. If I want the music to start to fade in, but I also want that to fade out, what I can do is I can drag my timeline tool right about here, and I can use that scissor and I can split the clip. Okay, what that will allow me to do is then click on the second part of that clip, and I can then fade the music out by dragging that button down, just like I faded it in. So now the music it'll rise. And then when it hits the second clip, it will start to fall. The volume will now shrink down. Okay. That's really it, guys. It's, you're going to have to mess around with it a little bit. I'm just going to click, do I want to click finish? Yeah, I want to click finish. Actually, I don't want to export it yet. So let me do this. Let's see if I hit transitions. backgrounds. Let me see if I can click up here to, oh no, if I click media, that will take me to this here. So here's where all your media is. And then the last tab is your exports. So once your video has been completed, it's one video for this project. I click finish. Okay, you can give that a name. And then you can set the name. You can choose a thumbnail for the beginning. Okay, unfortunately, let me see here. If I hit cancel, I think if I drag my timeline maybe to my title, and now I click finish, it might allow me to pick that. It doesn't. If I drag it a little further. All right, well, it gives me the ending. There must be a way somehow. Maybe if I click on it, and now I click finish. No. All right. Well, anyway, this is a better thumbnail, so I'm going to click that or the quote, whichever you want. You have the option to save it as standard def or high def, and I'm going to leave this as a video, not a GIF. You can also pick one of these options. Save it to your Google Drive as well as to WeVideo, and then click export. All right, it'll take a few minutes for your video to export. You will receive an email once your video has been completed. You'll have an option to download it. At this time, it's not WeVideo is not integrated with Google Classroom, so there's no easy submit to Google Classroom, but you will be able to share the link that you get in your email, and you can add that as a link to Google Classroom assignment and turn that in. Okay, while that's loading, you don't have to wait for it to finish. You can leave, and you can go back to your editor, and you can continue working on either editing that project, or you can go back to your dashboard, and you can start another project if you'd like to. Okay, by going under projects, you can either stay with the same project or you can add a new project. If you're staying with the same project, you double click it. Okay, and you'll see you have the option for a new video edit if you want to, or you can go back to the old video that you're working with. Okay. If you click media there, you'll see all of the media that you may have used in this particular, to make your video, to make other videos. And under your exports, you'll see any video that you've created. Okay, so here's mine. It's finishing up. And I'm just going to click on this one. If you double click it, you can play your video. You can also delete videos. You can edit names and descriptions. And I lied to you. You can use Google Classroom. I forgot that they did integrate this. So I don't know if you have this as a student, if there's a way for you to turn it in to a class, but I have a way to share it with you. So I don't remember as a student what your options are going to be. So you'll just have to take a look at that. Okay, that's WeVideo in a nutshell. I hope that's helpful. If you do have questions, as always, feel free to reach out to me with an email or a Google chat, and I will do my best to answer your questions in a timely fashion. Thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day.